Suppose your lotus feet filled with such wonderful rasa. Let the bee of my mind always reside unwaveringly in that nectar which puts everything else to shame.
ISKCON Goswami was an old man, and wherever he went, he took a deity named Madan Mohan.
One day, Rupa Goswami was sitting on the bank of the Yamuna River when a beautiful cowherd boy came and asked him, "Swamiji, please come with me." The boy then took him to Gomatala and explained to him that every day a cow came to the top of the hill and poured down its milk. The next morning, Rupa Goswami went to the Gomatala and started digging. Soon after, they had found the Govinda Jai, and they started celebrating.
Raghunath Das was born in a village in West Bengal. His father's name was Govinda Das. Raghunath Das studied scriptures from his family guru, the Ramacharya. The Ramacharya took him to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur got to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shanti. Hare Krishna everyone, today I'm going to tell you about Jeev Goswami is the youngest of all Goswamis, and he's the son of Sanatan and Rupa Goswami. When his parents passed away, he went to Navadvip to see Lord Nityananda. Jiva Goswami was very beautiful. He had lotus eyes, a high nose, and a radiant golden body. He worshipped Krishna and Balaram deities made by himself when he was little. He was devastated by his father's death and dedicated his life to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is an incarnation of Krishna. The six Goswamis of Vrindavan are Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, and Sri Raghunatha Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhakti Goswami. These six Goswamis are all close associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I offer respectful obeisance to all the six Goswamis. Chakshur Amilitanyena Tasya Shri Gurudra Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitamyena Bhutale Swarupa Dharmayam Dadati Swapadantika. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Tene Brahma Hridayani Kavaye Muvayanti Suraya Tejo Vali Mridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Sarvam Vrisham Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Karma is the inherited nature of a person or thing which cannot be separated from it.
Next is the presentation on Srila Prabhupada by our senior kids, which is Madan Mohan kids. We all know the immense hard work which Srila Prabhupada has done to set up ISKCON as a movement. He's created such a beautiful structure because of which we can nicely study all the Vedic literatures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, in a very nice way. Even whilst we are living in the West, we can worship Sri Sri Gauranitai, Radha Krishna deity, and believe me or not, all the hard work has already been done. We are just eating the cake at the moment.
It is because of the blessings of our great acharyas and also our senior Vaisnava that this congregation in East Christian will be right now. Secondly, I would like to congratulate all the parents and the teachers. What they are seeing right now, it is your effort. What is our role is only to provide a structure so that your kids can grow. Your job is to just bring them to that structure, and I can promise you we put our best effort to enlighten your kids. What you see right now is only 42 hours of work. Only 42 hours of work by the teachers. The rest all is done by you parents and your children. And this happened because there is a structure has been put in place, and you guys put an effort to be part of that structure.
Srila Prabhupada, a great soul who created a global Vedic spiritual revolution, was born on the 1st of September, 1896. This is the day after Janmashtami, the appearance day of Sri Krishna. His father was Sriman Gaur Mohanji, and his mother was Srimati Rajani Devi. They named him Abhaychandani, meaning one who is fearless, having taken shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. An astrologer who read horoscopes predicted that at the age of 70 he would cross the ocean. He also predicted that he would be a great teacher of religion and would establish many Krishna temples. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that his father was a pure devotee of the Lord, and when he was only 4 or 5 years old, he gave him a couple of forms of Radha and Krishna. In a playful manner, he used to worship these deities along with his sister and used to imitate the performances of neighboring temple of Radha and Govinda. By constantly visiting this neighboring temple and copying the ceremonies in connection with his own deities of play, he developed a natural affinity for the Lord. Srila Prabhupada had been serving Sri Krishna since a young age, as his father wanted him to be a great devotee of the Lord. His father would invite many religious men to come to their home. Srila Prabhupada would serve everything he ate to the Lord first, and would also perform arati daily. As a child, Prabhupada loved the Yatra Yatra festival. He would watch Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Subhadra parade through the streets in their colorful carpets. He loved this festival so much that as a child he built his own butt cart with his father.
Prabhupada met his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, after being persuaded by his friend for the first time in Calcutta in 1922. He was approximately 24 years of age. Little did he know that this meeting would change his life forever. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was a prominent scholar and sadhu who had founded many Vedic institutions, and upon meeting Prabhupada, instructed him to preach in English and in foreign countries. Due to being educated and young, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati liked Prabhupada very much and convinced him to dedicate his life to preaching about Krishna. After 10 years, in 1933, Prabhupada received formal Diksha initiation from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in Allahabad at the age of 34. In 1935, Prabhupada visited Radhakund and received more instructions from Prabhupada to build temples and publish books. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also again requested Prabhupada to preach and broadcast his knowledge in the English language. Following his spiritual master's instructions, Prabhupada wrote a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. He also assisted the Vedic institutions in their work. In 1944, still remembering his guru's instructions, Prabhupada started publishing Back to Godhead magazines. He put immense effort into spreading Krishna consciousness, typing, editing, proofreading, and distributing all copies himself, that too at an age of 48. In his lifetime, Prabhupada published a total of 130 volumes of Back to Godhead magazines. In further years, Prabhupada continued to do devotional service, putting in all his time and effort for Krishna, all the while remembering two main instructions given to him by his spiritual master. Preach the message of Lord Chaitanya, or Krishna, to English-speaking people, as the message spreads out to further people. And secondly, if you have money, print books. In 1950, Prabhupada accepted Banaprasha, which is retirement from family life, after publishing the 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. At the age of 69, Prabhupada traveled to USA aboard the Jaladoot in September 1965 to fulfill the mission of his spiritual master and follow his instructions. Along with him, he bought 200 sets of the 3 volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam. During the journey, he suffered 2 heart attacks, but survived due to the mercy of Krishna.
In August 1965, Srila Prabhupada took a voyage to the USA aboard the Jaladuta ship, lasting 1 month. During the voyage, he suffered 2 heart attacks. He said if the Atlantic had shown its usual face, he would not have survived. The ship's captain also said that the Atlantic Sea was most peaceful. 1965. Historic arrival in America. The ship Jaladuta docks at Commonwealth Pier, Boston. This year, the anniversary was September 21st, just 7 days ago. Once Prabhupada reached New York City, he met a friend's son who took him to Pennsylvania to stay for a month. After a month, he wanted to go back to New York because it was better for preaching. He did not have an easy life. In fact, it was very hard. He called New York a terrible place. Some young people became interested in his teachings and started coming regularly. The first temple was built in New York. Then disciples opened a center in San Francisco. His disciples started learning more and more. He sent disciples to open more and more temples. In a few short years, he opened 100 temples and made 10,000 disciples. Farming and communities started. Gurukulas were built. 1966. Incorporation of ISKCON. 1970. Srila Prabhupada establishes the governing body commission of the ultimate managing authority of ISKCON. 1972. He establishes the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust.
Srila Prabhupada came back to India with his Western disciples. He brought them to India because he thought maybe some people would listen when they see these Western boys and girls serving Krishna. He traveled at different places in India with them. He called them his dancing white elephants. 1974, Prabhupada then completes the translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita into English. 1975, Srila Prabhupada then opens Sri Krishna Balarama Temple in Vrindavan, later to be his final resting place. 1977, departure from the material world at the age of 81. Srila Prabhupada left the material world in Vrindavan, India. That in India continued. Prabhupada was 82 years old when he left this world. He was in Vrindavan, surrounded by his disciples who were chanting kirtan with great passion. We may not able to see Prabhupada in person anymore, but he is still with us.